Good afternoon, and welcome to the newest episode or chapter of Ken Schoolin's The Adventures of Jonathan Gullible, a Free Market Odyssey. I am reading aloud with the author's permission, and this is Chapter 24, Booting Production. Government can neither guarantee useful and profitable work, nor provide it, nor compel it. Henry Hazlitt. This must be the seat of power, said Jonathan to himself, staring in awe at the splendid marble statues and columns. Why, they must have spent a fortune building this place. One great bronze door stood wide open, and Jonathan could see a cavernous auditorium filled with people. Slipping in unobtrusively and standing at the back, Jonathan could see a platform in the center. A group of disheveled and noisy men and women surrounded the platform, waving their hands. In front of them stood a distinguished-looking man who wore an expensive suit and drew occasional puffs on a fat cigar. He gestured with his cigar at one of the people in the crowd milling before him. Jonathan crept closer to hear. One man, waving a pen in one hand and a pad of paper in the other, shouted over the others. "Your Honor, sir, most esteemed High Lord Ponzi. Sir, is it true that you have just signed legislation to pay shoemakers not to produce shoes?" "Ah, yes, it most certainly is true," answered Lord Ponzi with a superior nod. He spoke so slowly that he appeared to be waking from a deep sleep. "Isn't this something of a path-breaker, a precedent?" asked the man, scribbling furiously on his pad. The High Lord solemnly nodded again in slow motion. Yes, this is a path break." A woman standing to the right of the first questioner interrupted before he could finish. "Is this the first time in the history of Corumpo that shoemakers have been paid not to produce?" "Yes," said Ponzi, "I do believe that is correct." From the back, someone shouted, "Would you say this program will help raise the prices of all kinds of footwear? Shoes, boots, sandals, and so on?" Yes. Well, would you repeat your question?" Another voice called out, "Will it raise shoe prices?" "It will raise the income of shoemakers," replied the Lord, who nodded ponderously. "We certainly hope to do all we can to help the shoemakers in pursuit of a reasonable standard of living." Jonathan thought of Davy and his mom. How much harder it'll be to buy shoes from now on. Then a reporter, kneeling and mostly hidden by the throng, shouted from the very front of the platform, "Can you say your program will be next year? Can you say what your program will be next year?" Ponzi mumbled, what did you say?" "Your program. What's your plan for next year?" asked the reporter impatiently. "Of course," said the High Lord, pausing to draw deeply from his cigar. Well, I believe that it is appropriate for me to take the opportunity of this special press conference to announce that next year we plan to pay everyone on the great island of Corumpo not to produce anything." There was a collective gasp from the audience. "Everyone? No kidding? Wow, that'll cost a fortune. But will it work?" "Work," said Lord Ponzi, shaking himself out of his stupor. "Will it stop people from producing?" "Oh, sure," he said, barely concealing a yawn. "We've had a pilot project in our front agency for years, and," said the Lord, a note of sleepy pride crept into his voice, "we've never produced anything." At that moment, someone came up beside High Lord Ponzi and announced the end of the conference. The group of reporters surrounding the platform dissolved, abandoning the crowd seated in the auditorium. Jonathan blinked hard twice when he noted an almost imperceptible sudden droop in Ponzi's posture, as if someone had snipped a string overhead that was holding him erect. The house lights dimmed as Ponzi was led off stage to a smoke-filled back room. And that is the end of Chapter 24. Tomorrow, we'll look at Chapter 25, The Applausometer. Until then, have a fantastic day.